I always start strong, but then I fizzle out. If you think you need more motivation, think again. Hit it. Ah, yeah. Special time. Special time. Special time. Special time. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Welcome to a fresh new episode of the Fitness Avengers, where we fight fat, frustration, and fitness fakes. I'm your host, master trainer and author Tony Arreola from TotalBodyProject.com on a personal mission to help you live your life fit. Coming at you every Monday night at 6, sometimes 12. So this is kind of a test run. And it's daylight savings, so we went for it every Monday on Facebook and YouTube live. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I I just need to get motivated. I used to think that. In fact, my first book, Get Me Skinny, that was one of the pillars, was motivation. And I got it wrong. Today, we're going to find out exactly what you actually need in order to make sure that you can succeed in your health and fitness journey. We're going to talk about temporal discounting, fancy word. We're talking about emotions, designing systems, identifying your true self, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. All the things that you need to feel successful and to be successful in health and wellness, because it's actually a lot harder than you think. Today's Ask the Trainer is, what if I feel completely unmotivated? It happens for people. I've heard of this. But today I'm going to show you why you might not need that. Comment if you're watching live, if you're skipping work, if you're still asleep, or if you're still backwards because of forward daylight savings time, which is always problematic on people. I want to thank today's sponsors, 1,000 Miles, which is a fantastic brand, whose one of their models is start first and think later, which I love. They got some awesome action apparel, and I was fortunate enough to get some of their clothes, and it's pretty fitting. I like it. So check them out, 1000miles.com, and start your personal journey. So thank you to today's sponsor. So I always give up. And as most Americans are always starting their fitness journey, I'm assuming that might be you. Maybe you always start, fizzle out. You think, hey, I get this done. I just got to get fired up. And then you can't seem to find a way, or you think you just don't have the motivation to hit your goals. And that could be the case, because motivation does vary. And we'll talk about this motivation wave and what you can do to ride it and create an environment as a lifestyle that you can really, that will really help you flourish. But let's talk about our hot topics today. Right? Let's talk about what's going on. This daylight savings time, which is rough for a lot of people. I would venture to say almost everybody. So running the biggest experiment of what happens when people don't get enough sleep. So everyone's basically lost an hour of sleep, right? Saturday night to Sunday night. Sunday's not so bad because Sunday's a rest day, so people don't really need you. But today, actually, in the morning, there's more heart attacks. There's more car crashes. Actually, judges, if you're going to see a judge today, if you're going to go see a judge today, it's pretty likely you're going to get a harsher sentence today, because that's what happens when people are sleep deprived. And you also might feel a little bit kind of wonky because your circadian rhythm, if you did have a good sleep pattern, is thrown off. So just be aware it's going to be a little different. And it's weird, even though in California, if you voted to get rid of daylight savings, I don't know, something happened and we still have it. So we got to contend with it. But that means that we get more daylight in the evening, which is awesome. So if you're going to start working out, a lot of times people wait till this daylight savings occurs. So it'll be darker later. So you can get out there and work out. Which brings me to the point that we're getting ready for Ironman Oceanside. 70.3 is coming up for myself and my beautiful wife. We're going to be taking our talents to Oceanside for a 1.2 mile ocean swim, 56-mile hilly and windy bike ride, and then a 13.1 mile beach run. So we're training for it. It's couple weeks away. So it's going to be exciting, and we're looking forward to a fun time. Fun, right? It's only 5 to 7 hours of effort, but I'm excited to see what kind of racing. It's my inaugural race of the year. Now let's get back to this motivation. And you're thinking, why is change so hard? You see back there, that's one of my posters is about change, and I specialize in change, but it's always very difficult for people to find a motivation to change and to really stick to that change. They always revert back because the brain doesn't like to do anything that's different. The brain doesn't like to do anything that's uncomfortable. The brain wants to keep the same neural nets that it always has and not make change possible. And so getting to break to the other side, whether it be to learn a new skill, whether it be to disarm these automatic negative thoughts, to jump in the water, or to make exercise consistent in your life, it can be hard because you really want to look for and identify two things have to meet up in order for you to make this change viable. Your values, your goals, and your identity, who you are as a person, what you stand for, and the different roles that you have to match up with your actions. If you get those things to match up, then change is very possible. For instance, if you're just trying to run because you want to run for a race, it's not going to help you. But if you run because you're a runner, now your identity changed, or you identify yourself as a runner, and this is what runners do. For myself, as a rider, riders write. As a triathlete, triathletes train. If you're somebody who's a health coach and you want to emulate health, then you eat healthy. So if all these things talk to each other, they all align, then that's when really change can actually happen. But if you don't align your actions with who you are at your core, you're going to get this thing called ambivalence. So it's a lot of friction, a lot of discontent. So the first thing you want to do if you want to really not so much battle this motivation monkey is you want to identify your true self, who you are at your core, right? What kind of father are you? What kind of husband are you? What kind of person are you? Are you somebody that you can look in the mirror and be proud of? Look inside and see who you are at your core, what you want to represent in life. If you can get those things to align, then you can really start to move the needle as far as your health and wellness goes. Now, the problem with exercise, for instance, is that it doesn't feel good. And I'll give you an example of like of this thing called temporal discounting, or how we value more instant gratification versus long term growth. So there's a grasshopper, and then there's an ant, and the grasshopper plays his violin. Yeah, he's like rocking out on his violin, playing around because the violin is fun. It feels good. It's awesome. He's just like, yeah. And then the ant's kind of like working in the back, and the grasshopper tells the ant, hey, it's like, hey, man, put that stuff away, bro. Like, stop collecting supplies and stuff. Let's go play the violin. And although the ant wants to play the violin, it does look like fun. He knows that he's got to do the work in order to prepare for the winter. And so, it keeps going. That grasshopper's like, yeah, this is so much fun right now. Woohoo! And then the ant's like, oh no, you should start working on your stuff. And so all summer long, the grasshopper plays with his violin. And then, fall, then the winter comes. And the grasshopper didn't do the work. He valued instant gratification, and the grasshopper has no food, no shelter, and he freezes and he dies. And the ant doesn't help him. The ant's rugged. The ant's like, you know what? You know what, bro? You didn't want help back then. I'm certainly not going to give you help now. Help now. So what this story illustrates, it's a classic story, and it's been told, but a number of different ways, is how humans tend to value instant gratification. We want the chips now. We want to play now. Want to watch TV now, but we discount the long term growth, which is the part that matters most when it comes to health and wellness. If you go work out today, it's gonna hurt. It's not gonna be fun, and you're not gonna see results for maybe 6 months, maybe a year. It's gonna take a long time, and that's why this motivation wavers, because you're not set up for like the long term game. You're set up to just kind of go right now, and if you don't get it right now, then you get extremely disappointed. because the motivation is going to come and it's going to go. It's going to come and it's going to go. And if it hits you when it's high, which is great, but what about when the motivation is low? That's where people fall apart. So if you're counting on motivation, which is great, I mean, I love motivation like a race or like a wedding day or a um, destination trip somewhere where you're going to be exposed or a pool party. Those things are all awesome, but the motivation is going to be gone. And if you didn't design a proper system before for after the motivation dissipates, then you're going to be in trouble because humans are emotional beings. That's just who we are at the core. My background's in engineering, economics, and I'm a really scientific guy. But at my core, like everybody else, I'm emotional. And so when you're thinking about making these changes, you think about like a rational rider, right, sitting on top of this emotional elephant, which in the book, The Happiness Hypothesis, they talk about is once these emotions take over, that elephant's gonna go anywhere it wants. So and once the emotions take over, our rational side has got no power over it. So we want to know that if we're going to be emotional beings, we want to set ourselves up for success by not counting on just be pure motivation for success. All right, yeah. If you're watching live, say hello, comment, hit those likes, hit those loves. If you want a copy of my Secret to the Skinny Guide and some insight into the new book that we're launching, go ahead and hit the hashtag live fit, and I will send you a copy. Woohoo! So now we know we can't count on motivation, right? It's not something that we need, that's not going to work for us. So we need to design systems. You want to think of your health and wellness as how can I design a system that works, whether it be nutrition, exercise, water, sleep, stress management, vitamins, any type of system you want to start designing in order to help you build a life that you want. And you're going to run feedback loops. Every week, you're going to iterate until you can master these skills. Then after you master these skills, then you don't have to worry about drinking water anymore. Water is just something that you do. You can just put that on the back burner, right? And we move all the healthy habits that you need into this area called automaticity, where you don't have to think about it, right? Just imagine if 50% of your behaviors were healthy and they were automatic. Oh man, you can live life. You'd be like shredded for days. You'd be like, yeah, that's just kind of what I do. The next thing you want to do is, maybe this is where a lot of people struggle, is you want autonomy. So you don't want to sign up for a program that someone tells you exactly what to do, because that's not going to work. They need to know your lifestyle. They need to know your restraints. They need to know your motivation. You need essentially a program that an expert can help you create, but ultimately you have to create. You have to be the owner of, like, hey, you know what? I like to run. I'm gonna put in running, or I hate to run, so I'm not gonna run at all, or I hate vegetables, or I hate whatever, or I need more chicken, or you want to think about it as this is your journey, and all that a trainer, expert, nutritional coach, all these guys, what we should be doing is helping guide you, but you're the one that's going to be creating that mission, that creating that North Star, really discovering your true self on your journey. So you call the shots when it comes to building your lifestyle. And you want to think of it like all these different skills. So I have like 10 skills that I really work on my clients to try to master. But we want to keep iterating these skills until you become extremely proficient at it. So until you get a lot of reps, and you've really built these skills in here, so this stuff is just automatic, right? You go to sleep, automatic. Drink water, automatic. Handle stress, automatic. All the things that you need to go on automatic. Meal planning, meal prepping, hitting the calories, all these things, automatic. Steps, automatic. So you want to think of it like, as I talked about earlier, when you go through this feedback loop and you're doing this iteration, every week is a new chance to grow, right? We're not all using pagers and like DOS operating systems. You want to think of your life the same way. If you're still doing the same stuff that you were doing 10 years ago, then you haven't operated and optimized your life. You're not going to run the same operating system from 1990s. We want to make sure that you're always constantly iterating and building better systems, so that this stuff can become automatic. And what's really going to help guide you is, paying attention to your true self and your purpose. Is this who you want to be in life? Is this who you are at your core? Is that, do you want to exemplify this? Right? If you don't, if your health is not where it's supposed to be, right, why not? Is this how you imagined your life? And if it's not, we got to do the work to change it so you can be proud of the person that you look in the mirror. Because we all, you especially, deserve to be happy and healthy and just living a fulfilled and just thriving life. And I know that you can do it. You just need to the right, you just need the right system to really set you up for success. And then know that it's an experiment. And you're going to be working on it, and it's not going to come right away. But it's a battle that's worth having. And if you can't solve it, I say don't worry. You have your whole life to figure it out. And so that brings me to an awesome moment, an awesome experience with one of my clients, his son. And let's see, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear the audio on this thing. Here we are, folks, at the finish line. Right here, you got to come in through right here. Finish. Yeah. Here's Oliver. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Yeah, here's your medal. Hold on. You did it. You did it. Congratulations. Congratulations, sir. Good job. High five. You did. So there's here's the little Oliver. And Oliver completed his first. You did it. How do you feel, sir? He completed his first triathlon. And it's funny how this little triathlon happened. Lucky his dad signed him up for a triathlon, a sprint level triathlon. And he was excited, getting ready. And his son said, "Hey, I want to do a race with you, you know." And then, Lucky was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "We can sign you for a kids run." He's like, "No, I want to swim and bike as well." And Oliver's 7 years old. And so Pasadena has this sprint kids triathlon, swim 50 meters, bike a mile, and then run half mile, which is awesome for kids. And Lucky was really excited that we're going to do it. Lucky was going to run his race, and he got the dates wrong. He thought the race was next week. It turns out it was actually on Saturday, so he missed it. So Lucky reached out to me, and I said, "Hey, let's put together like a little sprint, a little kids triathlon for little Oliver." So we put out the flags, set out the cones, and then Oliver got after it. He did have to fight some demons because, as Oliver said, the pool was a lot bigger in person than it was on videos. And he wanted to do the triathlon in reverse order because he didn't want to get wet. But that's not how life works. In life sometimes you get your obstacles, you get your things that you need to do, you get your challenge, and you got to figure it out. And Oliver stepped up to the plate. He had an amazing first triathlon. We gave him his medal, and the kid is just celebrating. So I'm really fortunate to be able to share that moment with Oliver as he matures. So let's kind of let it play out the rest. You tired? You tired?
Yeah.
Give us some words, advice. How do you feel after you? So you had a chest cramp. Your first try. You have a chest cramp. So after he finished his race, he had a chest cramp and a rib cramp. But congratulations, Oliver. You fought some demons. You stepped up. You delivered, my friend, and you are now a triathlete. So kudos to little Oliver, living the dream. All right. So good job, brother. All right. So let's look. Today's Ask the Trainer. What if I feel completely unmotivated? It's a sad one, right? If you feel completely unmotivated, first you want to check if, and honestly, you want to be checking if you might be suffering from some depression. If you're depressed and you don't really want to do anything, like not open the blinds, just kind of lay in bed, then you want really some medical help, right? Get some professionals to help you. But if you just feel like, well, no, I'm not depressed, but I just don't feel like to go work out. So then my next question is, because I get this when people want their spouses to work out, or they want, their friends or their wives or just somebody to work out, is ask them who they are at their core. What do they represent? And is this the life that they had imagined? And when you ask people with deeper questions, then you can get the answers. If they're like, hey, you know what? I just give up on myself, or I don't really care, then no matter what I say, it's not going to help. But if we can ask some probing questions and figure out who they are at their core, their values, their goals, their identity, discover who their true self, what their purpose is of their life, then you have a chance to move them in the right direction. And once they're moving in the right direction, then it's time to install these systems. Think of it as an experiment so you can really design a lifestyle that serves you so you can really live your life fit. If you haven't had a chance yet, hit the hashtag LiveFit to get an invite to the Fitness Avengers. Like I said, we're preparing a huge book launch, which I'm really excited about. We're rebranding the books. Some books got revisions, and we're gonna come in with a new author, one of my clients, close friend, which I'm really excited to share. Please comment if you're watching the replay. Hit the hashtag LiveFit. You'll get your secrets of the skinny guy. You get some chance for some free books. And tune in next week. Next week, we're going to avoid fitness's silent assassin. So there's something killing your fitness game. Do you know what it is? I bet you don't know. Because when I meet with people, they don't know either. Again, my name's Tony Arreola, NASM master trainer and author. And my purpose is to empower you with health and wellness, because I really believe that you deserve all the health and happiness in the world, and you really deserve to live your life fit. I'll see you next week. Remember to live your life fit. Hit it. Wifey.
Make sure to like it and share.
You're hitting at the end. You got to go back to the beginning, man.
Thank you for watching the Fitness Avenger live show. If you like the show, make sure to like it and share. Please join us next week on Facebook Live.
70.3.
This week's show is brought to you by our close friends at Total Body Project.
They're good guys.
Visit TotalBodyProject.com for more info.